You're listening to a DM podcast.
Welcome to Over the Back Fence. I'm Di Edwards.
I'm Nicola Dale, and we're buddies of nearly 4 decades. And yes, we actually do happen to share a back fence.
We do. We love parties, people, inspirational stories, and honestly, making the most out of life.
So join us as we open our hearts, share our stories, and hear from some of the most inspirational people in the world. And have a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Hi guys, this episode's brought to you by Air Women, experts in natural hormonal health for women over 40. Bear in mind it's Air spelled E-I-R.
Yeah, their products, they're designed to support energy, which we love
that.
mood, sleep,
Love
and
that.
more, helping you feel your best.
Oh, what more could you want?
We want
and
that.
honestly, we actually love them.
Absolutely
We really
love
do.
it.
And look, if you want to get a 20% discount, just use the OTBF20 at checkout for an exclusive back fence listener discount.
eirwomen.com.au. Go get onto it.
Yahoo, and have your best
Woohoo.
life. Nicola,
Welcome. We are back.
we are back in your ears, and my God, we are levitating here because it's so exciting to be back in the studio. It's like it's been a remarkably huge break in more ways than one. Where do we start?
Well, I tell you what, it's been summer fun, and we're back. It's season 3, 2025. It only seems like yesterday when we're sort of like doing the wrap up of last year.
I know.
But we hope everyone else has had a great summer holiday here in Australia, wherever you are around the world. You know, like we've had Christmas, we've had New Year, we've had Di's birthday, and we've got a lot to unpack because
do.
you know we've had actually a lot of fun this summer, and we've got some exciting news now. Di,
Well, I don't know about it.
come on.
Look. I guess it's to be expected. It's like
Di, what's
for
been?
those
Tell
that
us your
follow
news.
us,
Come
both
on,
Nicola and I,
cheeky girlfriends.
They
Back fence talk.
know that you know my marriage of 36 years broke down quite a few years ago, and I've had a lot of years of healing, which I believe is very healthy. And I remember walking out on my balcony outside my bedroom one night and just saying, okay, because it was one of our guests, Steph
Lefevre.
Yeah, and she said, show me the way. And I thought that was a beautiful line. And I just walked out on my balcony and said, show me the way. I'm ready now to meet the right man. And this particular person, the timing was right for him too. And he'd said something similar, whatever, about 2 weeks prior. And then we met and it's been amazing. And ironically, Nicola's sort of met someone too.
Hey, let me.
and Nicola's, you know, she finished a relationship in the early part of 24. So both of us around the same time were dating someone, and we were like, what the hell is going on with the universe, you know?
Well, it was quite funny when you sort of think of last year. I got to say, you know, yes, my relationship ended, I guess, it's been a good year. And I've really enjoyed having that time to myself. And, you know, and I was saying, Di and I were like nuns, you know, like that. But this was like,
the flying nun.
It's time to have some summer fun. And look, mine's very early. It's
It
new
is.
romance.
We're
But you know
all
what?
early days.
But it's just fun just to meet sort of someone who's great. And for Di and I, what are the odds of this going? It's funny. Mine, I was sort of set up on a blind date out of the blue, this sort of message. And you see, you know, going there, you know, basically no expectations at all, except for it probably
That's healthy.
A nice person because it's through my friend. But, you know, what are the odds that you're going to have that, you know, spark or attraction? And so it was a really nice sort of surprise. And it was, I think a lot of things is timing in life. But it was funny. So when we had a couple of dates, whatever. And so this, I think it was like date number 3. I said, come and meet Di, the back fence, come and meet Freddie the dog. And it was the most funniest thing. So Di meets the new beau.
I was like,
she was like
I
my
was like,
mother.
Mum, I'm like, now, what's your intention with But you know what?
Very brave of me.
You know the honestly.
I had to get you back.
You know what I love is one morning we both saw each other. We went, you don't look like you've had much sleep. It was just written all over our faces. But I do want to say this.
So that's a little
for
bit
those
of,
that haven't been in a relationship for a while or would like to, I want to send this message out is we are animals at heart and we yearn for touch.
True. Well, that's true.
We yearn
Yes, yeah.
to be touched. And I mean literally whether it's a kiss or a touch on your cheek. I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about touch. And I think for the first time in my life, I stopped to really appreciate what that was and how important that is to a human being. And I guess ultimately, like I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger. That's me. I love to hug people. And sometimes I can feel people's shoulders drop when I do that. The art of touch, it's vital for our survival, I believe.
It is. No, it's good for you. And it's also like you're sort of saying you're ready. And especially like for Di, I was so excited because it was going, Di, this is your turn. You know, like my marriage ended, quite a long time ago. And so sometimes, I can't really remember it. But the good thing is that when I do remember it and go back, they are good memories because it's sort of like with the family and happy days. But it seems like such a long time. And I guess because I had a 4-year relationship and before that I was single for 3 years and then a year gap. So it was sort of kind of nice. But you know what I also think is interesting when you said about Di, your thing was Stephanie Lefevre and you put it out there.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't listened to Chip Conley, it's a great podcast on that. He actually says you need to state some things to the universe. Now, it was a surprise to me and Di, you're kind of kept your cards to the chest a little bit.
As much as I'm a people person, I'm also a private
person as well. But you stated out there, and we've got it on the potty of the things you want, 3 things, and he put you on the spot and said, what do you want?
Which episode was this? Was it late
yes,
late
it
24?
is. Chip Conley,
He helped start Airbnb.
Yeah. And then he said to you, like, what are the things that you want? And what did you say, Di?
Actually, first time ever, I said it because I've never said it publicly. I'm ready now to meet someone.
Yeah. So isn't it sometimes funny when you say it out to the universe?
Yeah, you reiterated that a lot to me. And I think what we're trying to also, at the end of the day, because Nicola and I are about inspiring others, is, the power of the voice, the power of the spoken word, the power of believing, and the power of putting that out there, rather than swallowing it down. It will never happen. Believing your thought process. If you put it out there and you desire that, even if you visualize it, my God, it can happen, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah. I really believe, I'm a perfect example of it.
It is,
I finally stepped out there and went, I'm ready, show me the way to meet the right guy.
Yeah.
Bingo.
And I think it's always good. You've got to have it sometimes.
It's early days.
It's early days, but you've got to have an open mind about things too.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny when Di sort of beforehand sort of saying, no, I won't be bringing this, gentleman back to the house. You won't be seeing the family for this data. Tell us what happened. It was so funny.
My God. Well, because it was like the crazy time, cray time, which is, you were saying, summer fun.
So it was 2 weeks after I'd met my beau.
Let's just go for a walk today. Like we'd seen each other. And I said, I just feel like a walk before the madness of my family Christmas. And so he arrived and my nieces were at my house and we could see them from the house. And they were saying, you've got to come up, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh, God, no, it's too early to meet the family, whatever. And they said, there's no one here. So he comes up and my nieces, one of them was out from Los Angeles and they're so excited. They've got a bloody rosé on ice. I'm so embarrassed, thinking it was all contrived. And then the next minute, because I come, as you all know, from a huge family of 8 kids, the next minute my sister walked in with her husband and then my other brother walked in. And then my son, who has been away for 3 years in Singapore, is like trying to put all the pieces together, what is going on. I'm going, oh, this is right, oh my God. And the next minute there's my other brother comes in and then I was going, oh no, this is insane, this isn't happening. And I think it went till midnight and that was like 1 o'clock during the day. So yeah, it's been a constant.
So it's quite funny meeting the family. So his first introduction to Di's family is sort of like meeting, there's about 40 people or something.
Mad.
But it was sort of quite funny. I went down, it was really nice. I was taken down to Melbourne. It was great. We went for a little romantic getaway and went to the Hunter and then we went down to Melbourne for the tennis. And then as it turned out, my daughter Gabriella, who's been on the pod, so listening to her, which is great, from season 1.
Sky, watch her on Sky.
Sky News got
Power
her own show,
Hour.
Power Hour, which is great. And so that was the first chance then. And so, the new date there said, well, looks great. We'll stretch, see if we can get the restaurant from 2 to 3. And I thought that would be great. It was pretty hard to get in. He had to sort of a bit of luck to push us in to get a table in the first place. Anyhow, so then Gabriella goes, Mum, just beforehand, come to like Bar Carolina. I've got a couple of
My
friends
fave.
there.
This
Great
is in
place.
Melbourne,
Yeah, we're in
yeah.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
So next minute there's quite a few friends, including David the Medium, who you'll be hearing from as well. And so it ended up that, and then we met. Like it was just so much fun.
I saw photos. Gabriella's on this new beau's
exactly.
lap.
So all of a sudden they were going, yeah, we want to come to Francois as well. So it was sort of like then the restaurant was stretched from like it was going to be from 2 to 3. Then it was
Till
like
3 a.m.
4 to 5, and then Gabriella said, oh no, we're meeting another friend who's coming over there. So we actually got it to 7 people. So this was our romantic dinner. It's not quite 40 at the house, but it was just hilarious. It was just such a great
I love that. But
wacky
that's
thing.
us though.
Yeah.
There's usually an element of madness around us.
right.
Even
Yes.
it's like, oh, let's have a lovely, I'll have a champagne. The next minute,
Exactly.
70 people are there.
Yeah, yes.
You know, and I love that about us because we love people. That will never change.
Go with the flow.
You go with
and
it.
it's just like,
What does
that's
Mel
how it
Robinson
is.
say?
Yeah.
Let them.
Let them.
Let
Like,
them
let
all
them-
emerge. Let them
all
bring the
come into
wine.
dinner. Let them
you
all
know,
come in.
just live life to the fullest. And look, honestly, Nicola and I went down to Melbourne again. Well, Nicola came down again, and look, the guy I'm dating just happens to be there. He's actually from there. And we went, Nicola and me and
Nothing
the
wrong
new
with that,
beau,
Melbourne girls.
We went to the tennis and oh God, Melbourne was alive.
And then what
it was
about-
kicking.
wasn't it so much
It's the best
fun?
time I've ever been in Melbourne. It was just everyone was happy, jumping, things
Australian
going on.
Open.
Just exciting, you know. And they said it was the biggest turnout ever for the Australian Open. And I loved watching the tennis. I really enjoyed it.
It was
And because we
great.
ended up at the Piper Bar, that was fun.
Oh, yeah, got to have some celebration.
Yeah, gotta
some-
have the
Some
celebrations.
bubbles there. And then we ended up going down
Yep,
to Lawn.
Thelma and Louise headed off down
It was
to
great.
a mate of Nicola's has a farm down in Lawn.
Yep,
God, that's
yep,
beautiful. The
you'll
Great
be hearing
Ocean
from
Road.
him as well too on our potty coming up as
Great
well.
story,
But it was
yeah.
just so funny. So I actually remember that I borrowed my sister-in-law's car. Now they've got a lot of different cars there, but this one, their other good car, that the engine had blown up on that convertible, whatever. So we got the old car.
We got Thelma and
We
Louise in a
got
different sort
in
of
a different
tape.
one. That's where
Yeah.
in his Jeep. But it was just so funny. So driving back
Oh.
in this car, I said, right, we need to pull over, Jai, and get some petrol. We both jump out at the same time, and the doors shut. I don't know how it was. We
No.
couldn't open the petrol thing there,
Yeah.
and so I go to sort of open it. Next one I was going, oh,
We've locked the
doors
keys in
shut-
the car.
keys are in there. We've locked it. We're at a place called Little River.
Middle of the M1 between Lawn and Melbourne, literally. And I'm going, okay.
It was
But what do we do? I said, let's
hysterical.
go and have some fun in the petrol station.
I know, yeah.
So we did.
We did. So we took these sort of photos with these beanies on and toughy hats and the whole thing. And how look,
Was it the RACV? They came and
they came
saved
to the
us.
rescue
Yeah.
and did that. But, there was
it
always-
was funny.
It was
No,
fun.
and you know what? That life's an attitude, right?
Exactly.
No matter whatever it throws at you, go with it.
Yeah, go with it.
Let
isn't it?
them.
Go with it.
That's
But I
my
tell you,
new
we're also
motto.
excited
What else have we
for
been
the-
up to?
For this, what else have we been up to?
Oh, we had a great DM lunch at
We
the house.
did, where we
which is
we record this at Domatina
yes.
at our back fence,
Yes,
Domatina, and,
yeah.
the dudes there, the
gang
Batuta
came.
guys there,
The
they
Batuta
came
guys came for, and gorgeous Miss Double
So
Bay,
we Miss
Claudia.
Double Bay. You have to listen
Another
to her as
girlfriend,
to.
Heidi.
But I love a lunch when it goes on and on and on. and
Oh,
it's,
well,
we're
in my house, if
dancing
the instruments
and-
come out, if the tambourine and the drums come out, you know it's fun. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it
you
was.
know?
It was
and
great.
we're dancing to the sunset, and
That
that
was
was
really
so much fun.
And
yeah.
a little thing too, because we always know how important our animals are. And I said goodbye to my ragdoll cat, and that was Fleur, and she was my mum's cat. So I think before you've all heard about Fred the Cobber Dog, and Fleur was always very special. And so she had 15 years on this beautiful planet, and so that was a goodbye to her, and we certainly miss her.
We did a little special
We did
ceremony
little
that
specials,
night
yeah,
before.
and,
I'd had a few drinks. I
so-
hope it was all right.
Yeah.
But it was
But
just
that was
sending
the
her off
thing, you
to
know,
the universe.
It is. So send her. So she's up, with my mum at the moment,
Yeah, flying.
which is flying. And,
Having the time
and
of her
like,
life.
we're soon to be hearing from David the Medium, and his was saying, hey, you put out for signs. And I thought it might be too early, but I actually put out a
that's
sign to
right.
the universe going, Mum, Jay, and Fleur, if there's a message or a sign, let me know. It might be too early because it wasn't that long, so had no expectations. And then after the famous drive, with the keys locked in the car, driving back right next door to the car park where my brother parks the car, never ever seen it before, ever, a special number plate with the number plate Fleur 1.
It was incredible.
And I just went, wow. And I just went, Thank
I
you.
can back her.
Like,
She's not making it
no,
up. I saw it. It was incredible.
it's amazing that way too.
But a celebration of a life.
It is.
We've had the best summer break,
Yeah.
and Christmas Day I had 45, as you know, big family. That was just crazy. And look, the weather was beautiful in Sydney for the bulk of it, and then the rains came, baby.
Yes,
But
yeah.
you know what? That slows you down, and you go into a different mode. So to me, it's been pretty momentous, meeting someone, and also a lot of family love and beautiful friends. And my big birthday celebration was small this year. I normally have 400, but it was more intimate with family and friends, and I loved every minute
So it's
of
been
it.
a bit of summer fun, a bit of summer romance,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, hey, why not? And at any age, any stage,
It's
life
whether
can be
you're
fun.
12 or 102.
But what are the odds of both of us at the same time? I was just going,
It's
come on,
so
Joe,
random.
what's that?
That
is
morning
the-
when I
that-
saw you and went, you look a bit tired. And you went, so do you. I went, oh my God, is this really happening? Timing,
Timing in life. It's
yeah,
funny.
believe.
We'll talk about with timing.
Yes.
I'm really excited for this year ahead. We have got so much.
There's a lot been going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we've got
it's
great
huge.
guests lined up for you.
And we're going to be a little bit on the talk circuit, so we'll keep you posted on that one.
Yes.
We'll be having some fun
we're
in
emceeing
front
a
of
couple
you.
of events. We're actually going to do a little event of our
Face
own.
to face.
And we're doing a little trip soon. We're going to go and see Elizabeth Gilbert.
We
and
are.
have a
That's
chat
going to be
her,
great.
Which will be fun. That's coming
if you
up
don't know
fairly
Elizabeth
shortly.
Gilbert, of course, she wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Big Magic.
We're heading to Tasmania to meet her, and that's a big coup.
Yes,
We're
yeah.
excited. Look, it's like anything. Coming back to the word believe, Nicola and I believe what we're doing. Your feedback, of course. Anytime you wish to say something to us, please give us feedback.
Let us know
we
what
love
you
it.
like. What
There's a
you
couple
want
of
to
things
hear
we've
more.
changed. There's a couple of things we've added with your feedback because we're as good as that.
Yeah.
It's we love what we're doing,
Exactly.
but love hearing from you too.
We
So,
certainly do.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have had a lovely break. It's back, to the grind, literally, for everyone.
Yeah.
Kids are back to school. A lot of my nieces starting uni for the first time. It's like, everyone has a different direction to go, but I just hope it's going to be a great one for 25.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, 2025, we couldn't have anyone better. Coming up is David the Medium, and he's going to have some predictions for us for this year ahead.
Mind you, bear in mind what he has predicted, and predicted it on this podcast, that there'll be an attempted assassination on Trump, and he predicted that.
Yeah,
so watch out for what he's going to say for 25.
Yeah, he's coming up. Dottie, what
Yes.
a way to start 2025. We have
Yahoo.
got, now it's actually the third time ever. I'll tell you what, it's the most favourite guest, most popular guest of everybody, and we love them all, that's for sure, is David the Medium.
Yeah.
Now, if you
Hi,
don't know,
Dave.
and if you don't know David the Medium, I don't know where you've been, but David, he really is. He's the real deal. He's the most beautiful person, but he's also
is.
David possesses the unique gift of being able to connect with our loved ones after they cross over, and as a psychic, he's able to foresee and predict the future. David is able to connect, to see, hear and feel your loved ones and pass on messages, support validation, guidance and clarity. So really, David, I don't know what else more you could ever want in life than
Great
that.
to have you back, Dave.
So welcome
Yeah.
back to the back fence.
Great to be back. I can't ask for a nicer welcome back than that. Thank you so much.
You did sound good. You better back it up.
So look straight away, 2025. You're the man that
This is it.
has predictions. And for all our listeners, you have a word of the year. What's your word for this year?
Well, the word of the year this year was actually probably my favorite one since I started doing it back in 2019, because the word for this year is a revolution.
Whoa.
It's powerful.
So,
I find that a bit frightening, the word.
what makes you frightened by it?
I think of Napoleon with guns. I don't know. It's like, so break it down for us.
Well, it's a part of it is really the breakdown of the structures that are no longer working for us. So whether that's at a global level or an individual level, but it's sort of forcing, not necessarily in a violent way or in a collapsing kind of way, but it's really just enforcing new beginnings, new change. It really is a year of transformation as well. But it's just things that we've been waiting on for years and years and years. If we feel stagnancy in any parts of our lives, if there's anything that we're really wanting to cause a bit of an upheaval, for want of a better phrase, it's just really rebirthing the revolution in that sense. But it's just, bringing in a lot of new beginnings and transformative energy.
That's incredible, because last year your
Powerful.
word was adapt.
Adapt, yeah.
Adapt, which was, I loved it. What did you say? If you don't, bend or something, you get a snap or
Yeah,
whatever. So
be a
it was
little bit more
great
flexible.
way there. But, and so what would you say, just in a quick thing of when you go back of review of 2024, of your predictions, what was right and what was wrong?
But hold on. Firstly, David did say on the podcast that there'd be attempted assassination on Trump. You actually did say that, and there was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, of course, everything I said was right. No,
that's right. I got to put it out there for all our, because and we'll go there because there are there are skeptics sometimes.
Yeah,
which
and we'll look into the skeptics.
So what did you get right? And was there anything wrong? I don't think so.
The biggest ones that I've always enjoyed politics in general. I know I'm one of those crazy psychopathic people that actually enjoys following along with politics and world events. But at the end of 2023, and I know that, as you mentioned, we touched on it as well, but I did make a lot of predictions around the 2024 election, the US presidential one. And I did make the prediction that Joe Biden would drop out of the race. Donald Trump would face multiple assassination attempts, but would ultimately go on to win. Mm-hmm. And I not only talked about that on social media, we touched on it with you, and I also talked about that on Sky News with Gabriella Power on the Power Hour,
so
the lovely daughter of Nicola.
Which went globally as well, yeah.
So, that was a few weeks after the first assassination attempt that I was on Sky News and managed to really sort of break down a lot what was happening there. But I did say at the time, this was filmed at the start of August, that I said August and September would bring a very high risk of another assassination attempt against Donald Trump. And then only about 5 or 6 weeks later, we saw the second one.
Yeah.
So, a lot of my predictions are definitely around sort of global events. So the funny thing is, I can't even remember what I predicted for 2024 because I'm already on to 2025.
Love that.
I mean, I say with everything, not everything any psychic will say is going to be exactly on point. And I say it right from the onset, we have to take psychic predictions and psychic foresight with a grain of salt because, the energy around it, especially the global collective energy at the moment, is very, very fluid. And there's a lot of sort of constant changes and things are switching around. But I actually find it easier to sort of make predictions around really big events more so than even sort of the little side events. So it's just been a lot of change and a lot of upheaval, but it's been a fascinating ride. I think we can all agree.
Is there a standout one that just, so you go 2025 now, that is just boom?
Yeah. Well, 2025,
boom.
the predictions
boom.
around. Yeah.
Could be.
Well, that might be.
Oh, no.
That could actually be a bit of a good introduction because it does feel like that terrorism is unfortunately going to pay quite a large part of 2025 again. Not just in Australia, but obviously worldwide. But I make a lot of predictions still around Donald Trump because, you may have heard me talk about this before, but I look at the United States as what I call my spiritual ground zero, because it is kind of like the empire spiritually. Anything that occurs within the United States energetically reverberates around the world as well. And we see that already, whether it's politics or economics or pop culture or anything like that. Like anything that happens in the United States really does spread around the world. So I've been paying a lot of sort of special attention there. A lot of predictions around Donald Trump again. I think, unfortunately, the assassination attempts against him haven't concluded. There will be more in 2025. Oh. And it's also more likely to also target members of his immediate family as well, with a bit of a special interest paid to Barron Trump. I've always had a bit of nervousness around Barron Trump's safety and security. So, just obviously hoping
he's so tall, isn't he?
Well, that's the thing. He's 6'9" and he's 18 years old.
I know. Is he 6'9"?
6'9".
Are you joking, or he really is?
No, he is.
Wow,
he's still got another few years to grow.
Oh, God, that's incredible presence. Well, bless him. That's all I can say. No one deserves to be involved in that.
But I think with everything that's sort of changing in the United States, will sort of have a reverberative effect around the world again. I made the prediction. And, we're filming this in, end of January 2025, so it's a bit of a wait and see. But I don't think the Australian Labor Party will win the federal election. I think it's very likely that Peter Dutton and the Liberals are probably going to win majority there, even though it's looking a bit sort of, 50-50 at the moment. So there's just a lot of political change, a lot of societal change. The upgrades that we're all having at an individual level are going to start reverberating at a collective level as well. So it's just going to be a bit of a fascinating journey, I think, this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's really fascinating.
Revolution.
Saying that too with the upgrades. And because of you, really, we did meet Molly, who's an oracle, and, she was sort of explaining with upgrades and energy. Can you sort of tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, first and foremost, I actually just spoke to Molly before I came on to
Oh,
say, and she said that
wow.
I had to say hello. She's all the way in New York
we
City
love
at
her.
the moment.
Excellent.
We love
so everyone
Molly.
listening to Molly from last
Molly's
season as
reading
well.
of me.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, spot on.
It freaks me out. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the part I've already forgotten the question. What was the
No,
question?
Fiji,
exactly.
baby.
Look, just with energy too, with the upgrades as well, just sort of explaining it really to our listeners about, energy really.
Yeah,
What
well,
is
I mean,
it, and how important is it to us as human beings?
I mean, every single thing that's living is energy, and that's not spiritual. Like, even science understands that. Like, it's all atoms and particles, and spirituality references it as, energetic vibrations and frequencies. And it's so important for our soul journey Earthside to go through these stages of evolution and, whether it's events that we go through or personal understandings that we become aware of, it really helps upgrade us and is part of our bigger soul journey here on Earth. Because, I mean, you've heard me say before as well, but I look at Earth like the classroom for the soul. Like, there's reasons why we have to come here as the soul to experience and grow and evolve. So to get energetic upgrades, I mean, the most important thing to do right now, and, Molly talks a lot about this as well, but it's energetic management. And one of the conversations I actually just had with her, that's not only relevant to me, but I think it's relevant to a lot of people that will be listening at the moment, is just paying attention to your inner circle. Like, the people that are in our lives at the moment, some of them we may have known for 30, 40 years, whatever. But like, well, and this is a good example because you guys are basically like sisters. I mean, there's such a beautiful energetic bond there. But the biggest lesson that we're all sort of seeing worldwide at the moment is the people that we have in our inner circles and the impact that they're actually having on our energy. Because like any relationship in life, we all evolve, we all change, and we grow. And sometimes the people that we were friends with 20 years ago maybe aren't necessarily, not that we don't love them anymore, not that we don't appreciate who they are, but they might not be having the best energetic fit into our life because we all do grow and change. So energetic management is crucially important there, to really pay attention to who we're allowing into our circle, because anyone that we associate with is leaving an energetic footprint on us or an energetic imprint on our energy. And if they're always sort of in a negative mindset or they're looking at things from a really sort of disillusioned point of view, it rubs off on us. And it can not only impact your own mindset and your own mental health, but it can also sort of dull your journey in some ways because it makes you less motivated or you get a bit more cynical or pessimistic. So something that I've been doing a lot lately when it comes to energy work is really paying attention to who's in my inner circle and what do they bring into that? And also on the other flip side of that, what can I give back to them? Am I having a positive impact on their life? Maybe I'm not either. That's the thing. So it's just something to pay attention to.
Well, David, that's
It's
really
also,
good
checking in, isn't it? Like, I often say is just check in and like take your power back. I love that line. Take your power back. And I guess awareness too. If someone's energy is rubbing off on you in a negative way, it's about the awareness of that and maybe how that landed on you. Like, did you go to dinner with them the night before? Or are you like not feeling happy? Like that I didn't like the way they spoke to someone, whatever. Just think about it. Don't push it down. Bring it to the fore, and that's healthy.
Yeah. I mean, no one's soul journey is more important than someone else's. Like, we're all here to learn different things. But it's like that age-old saying, if you sit at the table with 5 entrepreneurs, then you'll become the 6th. If you sit at the table with 6 drug users, you'll become the 7th.
Wow.
Never heard that.
But isn't that true? My mum used to say to me, Nicola, it's the company that you keep, and sometimes it is that way
really
too.
is.
I agree.
And it's good
100%.
to sort of cherish the company that you keep, but also it's a good thing to always think of be open. And don't we love meeting new friends and meeting new people? And it's great to have an open mind.
I often think about, I can't help but think about Mother Nature, like a tree. Like sometimes leaves and the branches break away and they become mulch and they go back into the earth. Sometimes some people don't serve you as you evolve and their energies, and you think, oh no, well, I've been with them for 100 years, I've got to stay a friend. Well,
we all
not
think that,
it's a crazy thing, that, isn't it? It's like almost like a habit sort of thing, if
Well,
they don't
it's a
give you the
accountability.
spark.
Yeah, like we don't wish harm on them, of course. We don't wish negative for them, but
No.
we have to be people and that inspire people. And where, for me, for example, if I sit down with someone, whether it's work for me or even in a social situation, like, I hope that I've left them feeling a bit more positive or a bit more inspired, or, not that I'm, the be all and end all, of course, but you want to have a positive impact on people around you. But the
That's
same
it.
goes for us. We have to be around people that we also fill our cups up. People that are inspiring, people that are driven, people that are ambitious, people that are just genuinely nice people. Because you can be all of those things and you can be a complete asshole.
True.
Or you can be really normal, but actually be a lovely person. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a good person, of course. But
Yeah.
it's about finding people that you gel with and finding people that really do fit into your circle. Like Paris Hilton said, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes. Oh, was that a Paris Hilton quote?
I
I love that one.
Well, I mean,
that's
But
I'll
it's
associate
true.
with
That is actually quite true.
talk about that it's interesting with the power of the celebrity. I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, David, but it's no longer that they have the voice. You know, we saw that in the election
We
too,
did.
that it used to be if they,
Yep.
come out and say, which political party or whatever. Whereas now I think is there a big shift now?
Well, there's been a really big shift, and I think part of that is social media to begin with anyway. I mean, social media has been around for a good 15, 20 years, really, but, back in the day, especially in, again, the spiritual empire with America, like a lot of people did seek their guidance from these celebrities because they were like, we put them all on a pedestal. And the age of celebrity has really collapsed, and rightly so, because I don't believe that we should be taking political advice on how to live our lives from someone who can sing or someone who knows how to act. Like these,
Yes.
they're all well and good. They're welcome to have their opinions. Everyone's welcome to their opinions. The thing is, and what a lot of people seem to forget, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that we have to listen to it. Like no one's opinion is more important than anyone else's, and it shouldn't be put on a pedestal. But, with the way that society is at the moment, and there's a lot of sort of structural issues. I mean, we see them in Australia with the cost of living and, maybe the economy is not as strong as it always was, especially for those of us that grew up in Australia. Like we can definitely see a lot of a different country now. But, to put it into the American perspective, there was a lot of structural issues that were happening in America over the last 4 years under the previous Biden-Harris administration, whether that was economic issues, but there was, a migrant crisis, there was a crime crisis. And people weren't interested on hearing the opinion of celebrities when they're struggling to pay their rent or they're struggling
Right.
to feed their families or they're living in an unsafe neighborhood. Unsurprisingly, you don't really care what Taylor Swift thinks politically.
True.
Yes, yeah, that's so
I
true.
agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah, or like as much as we all love her, I don't really care what Oprah's opinion is. She's a billionaire who lives in the gated community. I don't really think she has.
And hey, happy birthday to Oprah.
Yeah, I know.
Last
I
week,
feel like
we
I'm
love
happy
her.
birthday.
But here to
Send
that.
you good energy.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. I'm not
But
going to
David,
take the opinions of anyone who lives in the gated community on their views on crime and safety. Like you don't understand it. You don't appreciate it. You don't know what the real world's like.
Well, can you
amazing.
believe it was a year ago that we had David on as our first guest?
A year ago?
It was, David kickstarted, it was 2024, and now we've got his kickstarts 2025 because we couldn't think of anyone better than David.
No.
And you blew us out of the water because, our mums
Parachuted
came, but
us.
remember that our mums came through. And then there was Mimi and Jan.
that was
and then
really
there was Jay,
random.
and it was just...
It was incredible.
It was incredible. I don't know. So we're open if anything does come through. Let us know,
Wow.
David. Is it?
You know what's weird is that it blocked the sound when you actually asked that question. How incredible.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
we won't
then, but
cut
just
this.
play with it. Play it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can now.
Can
It
you
comes
hear me,
back.
David?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
can hear
I
us.
can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it's
That went
really
black.
weird.
Oh
Nicola
my
was
God.
asking. No, keep this running because
Yes,
when
yeah,
Nicola was
actually,
asking the
that's so
question,
true.
and it went bang quiet. Like
did.
I
It's all
couldn't hear
energy.
him. I'm telling
energy.
you, that was very freaky. And then it happened to Nicola. So I've already got the goosebumps now.
I love that.
Right now,
I
like
thought-
something's happening, like for that just to happen.
Yes.
Just as you asked it. I
It's so
couldn't hear
wild.
him.
It's all energy because even when I
know.
was doing my live shows in 2024, every time we used to do sound checks at the venue, I always used to knock the headphones out. Like the energy just interrupts. It's all spiritual. It's not all me. Like but it's just the energy. You
And
feel.
sometimes it frightens me.
So
sometimes
listeners
it
are actually
does,
both our
but
heads. They actually
just accept
stopped.
it, right?
They
Accept
actually
it.
stop. And David does do live shows, sell out around the country. We were privileged
We
to see you
were.
in Sydney
At the Opera
and-
House.
and I'm
That was
no
great.
doubt we want to hear more that you'll be going. Possibly overseas as well too.
So tell me what's happening because I'm actually because you know I'm a little bit psychic, Dave.
Is anyone
I'm
around
actually
or-
my arms are shaking right now, and the sound did
Yes.
switch off. So there is that I know there's someone around me right now because I can feel it.
Yeah. you've honestly got like sort of three energies really circling around, and the best thing of all, and I know, unfortunately, what you've had to go through recently, Nicola, but animal spirit comes forward exactly the same as human.
Oh,
And you know, the funniest thing was when I walked
Tell
into
me
my
about
my
Fleur.
reading room today, as I walked in, I literally thought there was a cat in the room because I live with a cat, but my cat was in the lounge, and I was like, but he's not in here. And then I was like, well, obviously I'm going to sit down with Di and Nicola, like it's probably Fleur wanting to say hello. And she
Oh,
says, so first and foremost, like I
oh,
can
thank you.
see the mother energies in my head again. So this will definitely be your beautiful mothers with you. But it makes me want to cry, Nicola, because I'm
Oh,
literally picturing Jacqueline holding a cat.
oh my goodness!
That's what we
Did
were
you hear
hoping
me say
for.
before about? I said to the universe, it might be too early, but can you give me a sign if Mum
Oh,
and
I didn't hear
Jay are
that.
around?
Don't tell me what
yeah.
you
Oh,
said,
okay,
though.
okay. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh! I
yeah,
said to the
yeah.
listeners before he came on, this is so freaky. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that makes me so happy.
it's really funny because your mum sort of presents herself as like a lady in her 40s now as well. She doesn't look like a grandmother energy.
She always looked
Um,
young. Mm.
But you know, I know I was able to meet Fleur myself. I saw her at your beautiful place up in Palmy. That your mum's just holding Fleur, kind of like this big kind of like.
I know. Just what we thought would happen.
It's so
And she
beautiful.
says, but
Look at you. So I'm glad you're happy about this.
I'm so
It's
happy.
good.
I'm so happy. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted.
I'm so happy to hear from her, because it is this element. Even as a cat, she goes like this. Now, when spirit does that, it's their element of being gratitude or saying thank you,
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's
Meow.
so that.
Back.
Well, this
Meow.
is the best part. Cats actually speak English in the spirit world as well. So our animals are actually able to
what is she?
communicate
I'd always
in
like
language.
to know
So
what she's
that's
saying.
fascinating.
Is Fleur saying anything?
It's this element of, and I know the story as well because we've
Yes.
been able to talk about it. But unfortunately, when she said, when my mum crossed, there was actually this real nervousness within Fleur about what would happen to her next.
Yes.
And she says, but I appreciate my sister. I appreciate my sister's energy. She did about putting it into me. And she says, I'm never going to leave Palm Beach now. I'm always going to show her that I'm around Palm Beach.
Oh,
So
that's
it's sort
Over
of
the
like
back fence.
beautiful.
over the back fence.
Fence,
Exactly.
yes.
So don't be surprised if like you're walking the beach and you hear like kids like yell like Fleur, come over here. Like she's gonna show herself around you, like where you're living. So it won't be your house directly, but you might be at the cafe, you might be driving down the street, you might be on the beach, and there'll be like Fleur's here, Fleur's here. Or you could even be like, like Fleur wants you to come. Like it'll be things like that. It'll just be her showing you that they're still around. But it is led by your whole circle, especially your mum and this cat, this massive
beautiful. That's what we were
Well,
hoping for.
thank
you for that, David.
so much. That's
Yeah.
and just to the listeners too, because I had to make the decision of actually putting her
Yeah.
down, even though the indications were there. She was aging. It was the time, but that was I found sort of difficult. But I honestly thought in my heart she will go with my mum because I inherited her from my late mum when mum sadly died way too early. So. That's exactly what I wanted, and that's exactly now to hear that's so beautiful. So thank you. That's amazing.
Even my headphones are clicking as you're talking. I
Wow.
keep getting like
this is
static
going-
in my headphones.
Honestly,
It's crazy.
mine went like it turned off.
Must
Yeah,
make my
how
mum
crazy.
happy, like
It was
sort of-
momentarily when
Wow.
it turned off.
Yeah.
Anything else coming through?
Well, it's just to get that, even as you were talking then, Nicola, it's really just exactly what you were saying. That was Fleur being a bit unsure what was going to happen to her when her mother crossed over. And it's just this element of being so thankful for you for stepping up. And it's not that you
Spot
didn't
on.
want to, but she says, even though it was a big change, but it's just,
Huge.
when I'm living with her, she just felt comfortable. Like it is this element of just feeling really at peace. Not a massive fan of Fred, but she likes Fred.
That's cute.
But it is this element, just giving me like the second
Fred's
chance.
Nicola's dog, by the way.
The cover
Fred's
dog,
beautiful.
Freddie.
He's a sweet boy.
And I'm really
Yes.
glad that I've got his young energy with me now too.
Yeah.
Not that one replaces the other, but yes.
And where I came into this, because I was excited to be able to sit down with you both because I wanted to be able to read for you again. But my whole energy coming into it, and I was waiting for them to bring it up, unsurprisingly, is all about relationships.
Wow. Wow.
It was about 12 months ago you said about relationships.
You did.
Shoot, tell us.
But this is part of it because, because we're friends, I know, from a personal level, as a disclaimer to the listeners that I know you've both met some wonderful guys. But, this is it, Di. This is all about revolution energy, because the revolution energy really begun in November last year, because we had a bit of a spiritual new year in November. So it's sort of, as I was saying at the very start, it's the clearing out of structures that are no longer working, things that are forcibly breaking down that no longer work for us, and the rebirth of the new transformative energy. Everyone that I can feel up here, without sounding so cliche and corny, because, as a medium, but they're really happy with the relationship pathways for both of you.
Oh.
But they want you, Di. How do I translate that? It's sort of like they like the man that you're connected with, but it's sort of like, don't think of reasons why it wouldn't work. Which I think for all of us, not just, the three of us in the room, but a lot of the listeners at the same time can probably appreciate, like, we have past experiences with other relationships or marriages. And I think with whoever comes into our life that might be new, we always compare them to our last partner or our husbands or whoever it may be, our ex-husbands, of course. But it's just this real thing where all that Spirit says, if she's happy, I'm happy too. So if you can feel comfort and just, you're enjoying the ride of just, day by day, not that kind of ride, so we'll cut that part out.
We're keeping everything in.
Yeah.
Thinking Luna Park.
Wow.
Exactly, Luna Park. That's
Exactly.
Crossing my legs.
It's just take it day by day, and if you're happy, we're happy.
Oh, that's lovely. That's
That
coming
is
from, I bet you that's
really
Mum.
Lovely.
That'd be Mum.
Yeah, is our mum?
Because I've had her energy around a lot lately.
So it's interesting. So they were aware of the new relationships.
Absolutely. So our loved ones in spirit, they do sort of look over our lives like it's kind of like the newest TV show. Like, they love still being able to be a part of our journey. And obviously they can't completely change everything, but they love to be able to provide, guidance and support and validations on our pathways and the decisions that we make. But they watch over us like they did in the physical world. They loved us when they were earthside, and that hasn't changed just because, unfortunately, they've crossed over. So they're still very aware of what goes on in our lives, and it doesn't surprise me at all that you say that you can feel her around a lot lately when you're going through these really great changes and these new evolutions, because especially for special events like that, but even when we've got our general events like birthdays and Easter and Christmas, these big family celebrations that we have, our loved ones love being a part of that.
I really appreciated that, because there are times when I tend to analyse it. And it's exactly what Spirit said to you. It's like, just let it go.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're a smart enough, intelligent enough woman to not put yourself in a situation that's toxic or bad or anything like that. That's the thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, not that people that get in those situations are silly or anything like that. Unfortunately, situations can get out of control. But I think they don't say that you're overanalyzing. They say that you're reflecting.
Yes.
And that's two different things. So
yeah, okay. I misinterpreted that.
That's the thing. You weren't born yesterday. You've got past experiences. You understand relationships. You understand men. Men are more confusing than women, I think. Well, I think men are more confusing than women. Women get a bad rap for being, the over-emotional deep thinkers, but I think men are hopeless. It's so hard to tell what a man's thinking half the time. So it's okay to reflect on things, but they're really happy with the stages that both of you are at with this element of this rebirth or relationship energy.
Yeah, I love
It's
that.
amazing from what 12 months can bring. And for all the listeners,
Isn't it?
Because 12 months it was all about, we were having, you were sort of saying, and the mothers were there because we're going through difficulties.
Yes.
And which we were.
Right.
And who knew 12 months on, it's, flirts with my mum, and we're both,
in relationship, how
kissing
the
new
world
boys.
can turn. Kissing boys down
Maybe
the
it's
back
my
of the
year this year,
schoolyard.
fingers crossed.
Exactly. I was saying, so
Yes, David, we're going to. Can I feel something for you coming up?
Yeah.
Waiting, from even the listeners, ladies and gentlemen, of course, if anyone's listening, David the Medium is still dipping the what's the fishing line into the ocean.
Oh, the toe in the water, baby. The toe in the water.
Very easy
like
on the
that.
And where can our listeners, because people do want to contact you now.
Yes.
Are you available for private readings, or you don't do that anymore? Or
no, still doing private readings. Yeah,
you do.
How do they contact you?
So the best way is still through my website. So all private one-on-one readings are still listed there. So
And
I
the
don't
website
release
is?
week. Good point. I should probably give the website. That would help, wouldn't it? It's davidthemedium.com.
Yeah. Oh, that's easy.
Yeah,
Right.
and your Instagram.
And follow him on Insta too.
And also
fascinating.
It was amazing with your live shows. And also David does some, I absolutely love, group manifestations. So I think for listeners, if you can't get in to see David, because it's not always that easy, if you can't even get to see a live show, but you do quite frequently these group meditations. And now I've got to say in this story, talking about with relationships, it's funny, everything's been linked in from our very start.
Yeah.
We were actually in one of the ones with David, and you were saying about, there was a woman who couldn't find a boyfriend or something like along those lines.
Wasn't looking.
But also,
it wasn't entering into her world, which was me.
Yes,
I assume.
but you're saying it to thousands of people, but you're also saying in this person's room there was just pictures of single women sort of everywhere. Now I listened to that and didn't sort of think much of it.
Until I told you.
Di's listened to it, and then we do the group meditation. And after it finished, Di sends me a text. She goes, "Oh my God!" She said it was like David spoke to me in the night. Now, what happened? Di?
It was actually incredible.
Tell what happened.
No. It sounds. I have my ex-husband. We used to go to Tahiti. He'd buy these beautiful paintings of these exquisite Tahitian women. They're beautiful, and I had them all around my house. And I know the story of these women because the artist I got to know quite well, and I actually met some of the muses for the paintings, and a couple of them had just been divorced and they were single and whatever. So I knew their stories, and they're hanging in my house. And David said, "There's a woman listening tonight. She has paintings in her home of single women, and that's blocking the flow of meeting someone."
Mm-hmm. And it was like you spoke directly to
so random.
Di's
it was so
ears.
random.
And what did you do?
And I went all hot from my head to my toe, like I looked in the mirror, I was like a beetroot because I had this energy running through me. And I went, oh my God. So I took all the paintings down and I met this person very shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fascinating. So that was, it's a thing that I learned from my feng shui practitioner, actually. And Spirit talks about it in conjunction as well. But yeah, it's a really interesting point. If we're seeking relationships, or even if we're having marital issues or relationship issues, pay attention to the energy that you're actually putting around your house, because that's the thing. If you're looking to meet someone, and another example was with another client I read for lately. She was hoping to bring love into her life. But again, the pictures around her house were strong single women, or she had animals, but it was only one animal. Like she'd had this artwork, but it was only one bird there. Or there was like this pathway, but there was only one person walking down the pathway. So whether it was the animals by themselves or the single women or the people walking down the pathways by themselves, the energy around her whole living environment, which, let's be real, that's where we spend most of our time, so it's important. But it was giving off single.
Wow. How's
you don't
that?
think of that.
And another amazing thing, when we, to do with the artwork again, I was with a good friend of mine who works at my talent management down here in Melbourne, and she was like, well, I want to meet someone. And one of the advice was to put relationship artwork above your bed, because obviously we spend, 8-9 hours a night there at least hanging out in our bedroom. So it's really important to focus on the artwork above your bed. And my friend, she didn't have any artwork above her bed. But so what she did, she got a Post-it and she drew 2 stick figures holding hands with like love hearts around it. And she put that Post-it above her bed. The next week,
no,
she met
stop.
someone. The next week, and she's dating him now, and that was in December.
So coming up, I think you've got Valentine's Day one coming up as well, haven't you?
So these are ones that I love to do them at least sort of every 5 and 6 weeks sort of on end. But yeah, coming up in February 11th, we've got the Lovers Edition, which is all going to be focused around building positive, strong relationship connections and manifesting love into your life, which you can do actually whether you're single, married, or in a relationship.
Good
because
point.
If you're single, it's about attracting those positive connections, and if you're already in a relationship, it's about evolving and growing the bonds that you've already started. It's actually enhancing it. So that's one of my favorite events that I do every year. And then on the 13th, I've got the 22 minutes, the February edition, which is when we focus the manifesting energy on whatever it is you're wanting to attract into your life. So again, it can be love and relationships, but a lot of people at the moment, especially, are wanting to attract career opportunities, job opportunities, financial abundance as well. One of the biggest things I find in Australia, and maybe it's, tough attitude or even the tall poppy syndrome, but we always feel really guilty or we feel ashamed if we want to attract financial abundance and financial success into our lives. It's like being financially well off is like a dirty word now. Like, and all it represents, it's not materialism. Financial abundance just represents freedom and opportunity. I've always said that. So everyone should have the ability to have as much freedom and as much opportunity in their life as possible. So that's part of it. And, yeah, but I like to do these events every sort of 5-6 weeks, and we get a great audience. There's usually, at least a few hundred. Most of them actually sell out. So that's capped at 1,000 people. So if you think you've got a great energy when you're able to manifest one-on-one with someone, imagine what you can do when you're in a group of 1,000 people all putting their energy together. So it really is quite incredible. And I'm so thankful to everyone for joining and coming along. So yeah, if you would like to join, it's davidthemedium.com/events.
Well, we highly recommend it. We will be certainly in there. You also have these cards, and what they called daily. What are they?
My daily guidance cards.
Daily
I created
guidance
those myself.
cards,
Yeah.
and you get them. We've done them before, haven't we?
We
Dan?
have. We did them on a bonnet of a car, actually.
We did,
And obviously no wind blowing around.
Don't you? Do you want to grab?
Do we grab 3? What are they called again?
Guidance cards. So I created
Daily
these. These are
guidance
126 little flash cards, and these are all words that I actually downloaded from Spirit when I was doing meditation. So they're just cards with key phrases or key words on them. And what I like to do, I say it's like having David the Medium at home with you. So if you can't book in for a reading or you've got all these other things going on, get the cards. And basically you can lay all the cards flat or put them in a bowl, ask a question. You can seek a daily guidance on any certain topics, or you could just seek general guidance for the week
I love what
ahead.
we've just pulled out, Dave. I've got Let It Go, and I think that's quite pertinent to what we were just discussing in my new relationship. Let It Go. The next one is something that is really important to me. Embrace nature.
Oh, it is.
That's vital to my survival.
Telling you to ground your energy.
And what has changed?
Wow.
So much.
Literally what we just talked about
So
when we did your
much.
reading. Yeah.
So much.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've got, what have I got
For
here?
the best.
I've got
It's a revolution.
laughter. Well, there's nothing wrong with laughter. I've been doing
We love that. We love that.
Laughing.
We love that.
I like the laughter instead of
Love
tears.
that.
Laughter.
Laughter.
Dig deeper. Well, I'll dig a bit deeper
Yeah,
then.
go, baby.
And hey, woohoo, what are we
this one.
saying? Move with love. Oh.
Yeehaw.
Good. This is literally what we've been talking about.
Well, that's what we
Yeah,
were
I
just
love it
talking
all.
about, David.
That was all really pertinent.
That is amazing. And, like...
We love that. Where do they get these from? Is it on the website?
Yeah, that's on my website as well.
I think
So
I ordered
that's
them.
another link.
And
We'll have another go.
I'm so excited for 2025. And
It's the year of the snake. So we're all
Yes.
going to shed things, aren't we?
Yeah, well, again, it's all about transformative rebirth energy. So it's so funny how the word that I get from Spirit lines up with astrology. It lines up with Chinese astrology as well. Like it's all one big bowl, isn't it?
yes,
Yeah,
well,
yeah. I like the idea of shedding and new beginnings. I really
Yeah.
do. I think that's actually sits very comfortably with
Yes,
me.
wow. Well,
We can relate.
Absolutely. Well,
Right.
David.
David's turn next to meet
Yes,
someone. We can't
exactly.
wait.
We can,
Well,
we last.
it's coming.
Well, we're going to. We've asked you before, but it's a new year, and we've got some questions for you, David.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you want to shoot?
I'm
Daddy,
dying to
Daddy,
ask him this one.
Yeah.
What makes you happy?
It's such a great question. I think for me, when I was younger, all I wanted in life was, it sounds so cliche again, but I wanted to be able to help people. And I knew I wanted to have a positive impact on those around me. But I also wanted, the freedom to structure my life however I wanted it to be without feeling the pressures of a work environment of how life had to be. And I get so much happiness from essentially the life I've been able to create for myself, one that gives me absolute freedom to structure it however I want, but it has such a positive impact when I'm able to, connect and help other people. So that makes me happy. I'm just sort of loving where life is at the moment. And there's so many exciting things coming up this year. And
You do. We
there's
do.
been
Like
so many
things like
exciting things already.
Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah,
Podcast.
maybe. Yeah.
I know. I'm just
TV.
thinking, watch this space.
Yeah,
with
all over the
David.
world.
You can just, we can sort of see David
Excited.
on the screen.
New love.
Watch this space. New love.
New life. I'm open to that.
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
he's a good-looking man.
Next,
Now,
I know you
and
are.
if you could
Can feel
share a
it.
back fence in 2025,
Yeah.
David the Medium with anybody,
And
on
he's seen
planet
our
Earth,
back fence.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Who would it be and why?
Well, I think it's the same. I feel so boring, but I think it's the
No.
same answer as I always give you.
It's
Like,
Give
not
it, come
Elon
on.
Musk.
It would have to be Elon Musk again.
Oh, my
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's incredible.
I think that's great. And what's
I was talking about you and Elon Musk the other night at a dinner.
time traveler, SpaceX? Tell us now on
Yes.
that. What's some
What's
2025?
gonna happen
What's happening?
with Trumpy and Elon?
The funniest thing, because even, the very first time we did the podcast, you asked me, who I'd have dinner with. And I said Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And now look how relevant that's become.
Wow.
Because this is,
That's actually
Wow,
incredible.
that's right.
I remember
was-
that.
Exactly. That was before Elon Musk.
And you
was
said
in
Elon
the
Musk
front.
has been transported here. I thought that
100%.
was remarkable.
So,
because
yeah,
I
I mean,
believe that.
I love talking about Elon Musk because I'm not saying he necessarily gets in the time machine like, chitty chitty bang bang and goes back in time, but
Gets in his Tesla.
he has to be doing
It's
something like.
advanced.
There's no doubt in my mind he has the ability to probably go into a meditative state and timeline jump to see the future, or maybe he has come back from outer space. Who knows? But he's an incredible person. I just think everything he's done, whether it's SpaceX or Tesla or even all these other side projects, no one can work out how he's doing it. Like even NASA is looking at him being like, we don't know how he's doing what he's doing with SpaceX. So I just think to be able to sit down with him, it'd be incredible. And, besides everything he does, so he's got SpaceX, he's got Tesla, he's now helping the Trump administration with government efficiency. He also apparently plays video games nonstop. It's like, where does he get the time?
And he's got a lot of kids too.
And he's
hasn't
got
he?
like 20 kids, yeah.
With
It's
all
true.
unusual names.
And
haven't
someone
they?
said
You
the
know,
other day
like-
he's single and they'd like to marry him. And I went, well, go for it.
I'd marry him. I think I've got to be fascinated. But like, so
Maybe he'll jump
We'll
the
do
fence.
the wedding.
He
We'll
might
do the
jump the fence for
reception
you
over
then,
the back
David.
fence.
Oh, that's just...
Yeah, but you did say that. You actually aligned the two, and look what's happened. Funny that with you,
to a
David.
good year or so before they aligned themselves. It's crazy because back then Elon Musk had nothing to do with politics. He hadn't publicly
Yeah.
supported Donald Trump, and
True,
I wanted to have
correct.
dinner with both of them, and now
Yes,
they're working
exactly.
together. It's crazy.
And, for everybody too, we're not at all, say with the politics of one way or the other, everyone's got their own different opinions on things, but it's just so interesting now how you had, sort of really sort of thought of that and really sort of felt that way and like, wow, look what's happened with revolution. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's crazy.
It really,
So it's
it
going to
really
be a
is.
wild, fun year.
Absolutely. And I've heard some, just quickly, I know we're jumping, but pandemic, I've heard a goss rumour about there could be another one. Is that sort of something?
There won't
that's
be a
come
lockdown,
into- No.
I mean, that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
I mean, I've been talking about this sort of on and off again for the last sort of 12 to 18 months, but I do believe that probably by the end of this decade, so by the end of the 2020s, we will probably see another sort of pandemic style situation again.
Not
it
lockdown, though.
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean,
God,
it's just-
didn't we learn from that?
Well, it was so. I mean, last time was just a disaster, really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we may see the beginnings of that in 2025. I really don't rule it out. I'm not saying that it would likely to happen this year. I honestly think it will probably happen more towards the end of the decade, so over the next few years in particular. But the energy's around it. It hasn't finished, and I think
Isn't
COVID,
that
in a lot of
interesting?
ways, and it's not meant to make anyone scared or anxious, of course, because I say if you can't control it, don't let it control you. But I just think. Yeah, the energy hasn't dissipated, and I think COVID was probably a pre-game to the actual sort of bigger sort of pandemic.
Well, that's so interesting.
Well, I'm moving to
too.
the country. I'm
It
not
is.
gonna-
Well,
Yeah, let's just-
hopefully,
we'll all go to
hopefully
I'm
that's-
going on a yacht out to
Hopefully
see
that's not
this
going to
time.
happen, but I had to just check in with David in the meeting when you said that.
I'm
What-
gonna end up with your pen.
I know. And
Do you chew that?
I do.
you?
I chew that, but I also got to
Look at
know what about
Seriously.
the Epstein, the list, and what's
Let's get the goss, Dave.
Is
Yeah.
it all going to? Is it all going to come out? And
This
then
is
what
a
about with the JFK,
Yeah.
CIA, like
Assassination.
Well, this is it. This is a very spicy topic, but it's a
We
one
love
that's very
spicy.
interested. Well, I do like a bit of spice.
we've gone for
myself,
more with David.
so-
We can't say no.
No, exactly right. So, I mean, in regards to John F. Kennedy, obviously everyone knows him as the US president who was assassinated back in the 60s, and his brother was also assassinated. That was Robert Kennedy, which is now RFK Jr.'s father and uncle. And there was also Martin Luther King, the civil rights leader, who was assassinated. Donald Trump has now signed an executive order ordering the complete declassification of any notes and documents relating to those. So it'll be very interesting to see what comes out there. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories for decades that, maybe everything wasn't exactly what they said, and it's been kept secret. And Donald Trump had the opportunity to declassify it in his first term back in from
And he
2017.
didn't. Why is that?
because he actually thought it was a bit too spicy himself. He was worried, well, not worried per se, but apparently there was information that was still relating to people that are still alive now. So Donald Trump didn't want to do it because of that. But now this time around, he's like, nah, we're doing it. And
he's doing everything.
That's incredible.
He's
doing
ticked
everything.
every box.
And that's the thing. So I think the next one, the one that I'm most interested in is, again, as you mentioned, Nicola, is Jeffrey Epstein and the P. Diddy list. I think
same here.
that will be
What's
a
the
really big
consequences? What's going to happen?
Well,
what?
It's going to
drop some names.
Yeah.
Not an actual earthquake.
Yeah,
but
no,
I mean,
but
honestly, all you have to do is think of anyone in Hollywood, and they're probably involved.
That's what I assume. Yeah.
And with Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, that includes not only celebrities as well, but it includes a lot of business leaders, a lot of politicians, members of the royal family. Everyone already knows Prince Andrew was attached to him. So the FBI and a lot of the intelligence security operations within the United States, that they would know exactly who's involved. But, you know, the political situation over the preceding 4 years had no interest in sort of being transparent or exposing people there. That's all about to change, especially if we have some of the nominees that Donald Trump would want to put in charge of the security apparatus in the United States, because those people aren't part of the establishment. These people would come in to actually really open the doors up and provide some sort of clarity and fresh air. So could be a very fascinating year. But let me say this way. There was a reason a lot of well-known people probably backed the Democrats and backed Kamala to win. Because if she didn't win, they were in a bit of trouble. And
so, Dave, just to, as usual, running out of time, just to sum up 2025 for someone listening, what sort of advice would you just give someone to how to handle the revolution?
I mean, my advice has always stayed the same, and it comes down to, if you can't control situations, don't allow them to control you. Like, all we really can focus on is our own life and how we impact the world. We can't control the pandemic. We can't control Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, or his impact on the world. All we can do is look after ourselves. So my biggest advice is, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, if you find yourself getting worked up by every little bit of information out there, shut off. All you can control is yourself and how you show up to the world. So stay in your lane, take care of yourself, and if you can't control it, don't allow it to control you.
Here.
I love that.
So good.
Yeah, that's a lovely way to finish
up. I think the power of turning off, except for you listen to a potty.
Turn off after this episode.
After this episode, I think that is really good. Well, everybody, thank you for listening.
We love you, Dave.
Welcome
always
back
have and always will.
into our ears. And yet, David, you know, we're really honoured to have you back.
Even more my sacred stone for you today.
We'll be tapping into David throughout the year. We're really so lucky to have this beautiful connection, and for everybody listening there, it's just wonderful. So everybody, we've got an exciting year ahead. You know, we're certainly excited for it, aren't we, Dottie?
Yes. Staying in our lane.
Staying in our lanes. Now, thank you for listening. Don't forget the old rate and review. Follow, subscribe.
Hopefully a car that doesn't break down.
It makes a little difference. I know, I was just saying I had a car that broke down coming back at Little River.
We've got the keys in the car. So stay in the lane in a really fast car.
We like the 5 stars. What about David? I mean, come on. How many stars is it? It's a Dottie star.
Well, I'm sorry. He talks about spirit from the universe. It's his infinity.
His infinity. Bravo.
Oh, thank you. Absolute pleasure, ladies.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Love you,
Back
Dave.
in your ears. Ciao, ciao, everybody.
Call us when you come to Sydney.
I can't wait. Happy 2025, and you'll be the first people I call.
Yay!